The summer season is upon us. It's great. It's warm and we're taking in the sun, but we got to be a little bit careful with that, all right? There's a disease that can come from the sun that's called melanoma, what people know as skin cancer. About 9,000 Canadians per year are afflicted by it, and about 1,200 Canadians die of that per year. So what causes melanoma? Well, the sun releases all types of rays, such as UVA and UVB rays, that will cause our skin to get darker. But also, if you have too much of those type of rays, it can actually affect the DNA, the genetic information in your cells, which could lead to skin cancer. So we need to be careful not to be exposed by too much of these rays. So what can you do to protect ourselves against these diseases? This particular disease is quite easy. Let's talk about it. So how do we protect ourselves against the sun? So a couple of things we could do. Obviously, you wear hats, sunglasses, long sleeve, clothing and, full pants, but in the summertime, that's not very practical. So what we do is we put on some sunscreen. Now, if you look at the sunscreen, it says an SPF factor, sun protection factor. And what that indicates is, let's say there's a number here, it means it will protect your skin 30 times longer than if you weren't, covered with this particular sunscreen. So what type of sunscreen should you be wearing in order to protect your skin? So bare minimum, you should be wearing an SPF factor of 30. Now I have one that's an SPF factor of 60. You can also buy it, but frankly, the amount of protection you get from that is very minimal compared to, that. So it's up to you. You can do whatever you want when it comes to that. You want a broad spectrum protection against UVA and UVB, so it actually indicates on it. And you also want something that is water resistant, so that when you apply to it, it doesn't get kind of washed off too quickly, especially if you're sweating profusely. Also, if you go swimming. That being said, if you go swimming, obviously you're gonna have to reapply quite often because you're gonna be washing it off whenever you go swimming, all right? So that's what you need to do in order to protect yourself and making sure that you have the right sunscreen with a bare minimum of an SPF 30. All right, so where do we apply the sunscreen? Obviously everywhere where your skin is exposed. People are pretty good with their arms or legs, but they tend to forget the ears, the nose, so the back of the neck, and that's where we tend to find, the first cases of melanoma appearing on the skin. Next question is how much you should apply. So here's a good rule of thumb. You want to apply as much sunscreen to be able to fill a shot glass. So you want as much sunscreen that would fill a shot glass to cover your entire body. Obviously, if you got more body parts exposed, you probably need a little bit more. Or in my case, probably need a little bit less. But general rule, you need about a shot glass full of sunscreen to protect yourself. So don't forget, please apply your sunscreen. You want a bare minimum of an SPF 30, broad spectrum, water resistant, and about a shot glass full, and that will help protect you against melanoma.